Wildlife and beneficial insects are key to creating a sustainable, self-sufficient garden. They help form part of a balanced ecosystem, and creating a small DIY pond in the garden is an incredible way to attract them. So I definitely have a lot of food growing in my urban permaculture garden, but there was one thing missing, and that was a wildlife pond. I want to encourage as many beneficial insects into my garden to help pollinate my fruit trees and help with natural pest management. The more insects, the more wildlife that I can encourage into my gardens, the better. So let's go transform part of my garden into a wildlife pond full of diversity. I chose this location for my wildlife pond because it is in the front garden away from my water-loving dog. It already has an existing garden bed for a wildlife corridor, and it's right outside my office window, so I can enjoy the aesthetics and tranquility of the pond. It also receives about 6 to 7 hours of sunlight, mainly in the morning and afternoon shade, to help reduce it from overheating. And it's also beside my main food producing raised garden beds, so I can attract lots more wildlife. I start by clearing out the section of sweet potato and also the weeper hose that I had to water the garden. I am using a pre-formed poly pond that I managed to get for free on Marketplace, and it's the perfect size. So it fits nicely in this garden, and it's a really quick and easy way to get a pond started. All I have to do is dig a hole and then fill it up with water. The soil that's in this garden bed is really good. It's full of nutrients, and so I want to move this so I can use it throughout the rest of my garden. It will, however, have sweet potato roots in it, so that's something I have to consider, that wherever I use the soil, I could get sweet potatoes popping up. Now that I have a hole, it's time to put the pond in place and see if it fits. And it doesn't quite fit, so I might have to make a few adjustments for this. With the pond in place, it is now time to start filling it up. I want to say a big thank you to Hoselink for sponsoring this video. I've been working with Hoselink and using their products for the last 4 to 5 years now, and I absolutely love them. So many of the tools I'm using today are Hoselink, as well as the solar lights. So they have a huge range of solar lights for the garden, and we're going to stick some of these in the pond. The links to everything that I have used in the description below, so if you want to see the exact hose reel, the garden tools and the solar lights that I'm using for my pond, you'll be able to find those links below. I realised that I needed to fill up the pond before pushing the soil against it, as it was starting to curve in, and the weight of the water would help keep it square. Because I'm using mains water, I need to put a few treatments in, as well as some good bacteria to condition the water. And of course, plant shopping is my favourite thing to do, so I picked up a bunch of edible plants, and I even got a few bargains, which I love. But stay tuned, because further along in the video I'm going to share every plant that I have selected for the pond and to go around it. By creating a wildlife pond, you're not only providing a habitat for a variety of natural life, but also fostering diversity in your surroundings. These ponds act as sanctuaries for a wide array of wildlife, including frogs, lizards, birds, dragonflies, and beneficial insects such as bees and butterflies. These creatures play essential roles in pollination, pest control, and maintaining a balanced ecosystem. I'm adding a bunch of natural elements to the pond as well, including some sticks, logs, and rocks. I'll continue to add these as I go. I'm just finding things here and there, especially when I'm on a walk. I found a bunch of bricks and pavers behind the shed that I'm going to use to prop the plants up so that they stand just out of the water. I want to create lots of access to the water so the insects can get easily in and out. So shallow areas, ledges, and different heights. I'm also propagating and collecting plants from different areas of my established gardens to add to the pond area, and that's going to save a lot on costs, and I can start to get some really lush gardens growing quickly. These are sweet violets and they grow a lush edible ground cover. Okay, so I just picked up some more plants. I got a purple water lily. I got a couple of these grasses, which will hopefully be really good for the frogs to hide out in. And I did get some fish. So we have fish to eat the mosquito larvae, and these are WA, West Australian perch. So these will eat the mosquito larvae, but they won't eat frogs' eggs. And because I want this to be a wildlife pond, I didn't want to get some goldfish or anything that's going to eat the frogs' eggs or frogs that I may or may not get in my pond, but we'll see. So I've got lots of plants in here now. I've also picked up some grass stuff that goes under the water that helps oxygenate the water, and a place for the fish to hide. I also got some little minnows as well. So I've got 5 West Australian perch and 3 little minnows, so we might have to find names for those. But I've just got the bag sitting in the water so that the water can sort of adjust from what they were in to the pond, because the pond is probably a bit colder. So they've been there for 5 minutes, so now I'm going to let them free and just put these plants in the pond. I need to get a few more bricks so I can stand the plants up, so I can put some over there. But let's let these fishies go. So I'm just going to open the bag and then let a little bit of water in at a time so that they don't get a shock, but these ones really want to get out of this bag, which I'm not. But don't worry guys, the fish were absolutely fine, and I even found the West Australian perch hiding in this brick with the little holes, which I thought they would like, and apparently they do. When you slow down and don't feel the need to rush, you have time to find bargains, use secondhand items, and do a lot more recycling and reusing, and that's what I plan to do with this project. It's an ongoing evolution. I then mulch the gardens with pea straw because that is what I currently have, and although I'd like to use bark mulch, there's a current warning out for shot hole borer, so I'm limiting what supplies I bring onto my property. Okay, so let's take a look at what plants I've selected to go around the pond and also in the pond. So most of these are edible. There are a couple that aren't edible, but the majority are. So I've picked a mix of herbs and also natives because I want to attract lots of native wildlife as well. So let's take a look. Alright, so starting off in this corner, we have a pansy, we have some yarrow that I've just propagated up from another plant that I've got in the garden, cornflowers over here. This is a native kangaroo paw. I picked up a whole bunch of little natives from our Plants for Residents, so our council gives out free native plants once a year, so I picked up a bunch of little ones. So I've got this one here as well. This is calendula. We've got this beautiful pink snapdragon. Then over here we've got parsley. This one down here is a tiny little carpet mint. So I'm going against my own advice and of not putting mint in the garden, but this one's a little bit different. It's very delicate and usually it's hard to keep alive. I've never had trouble with this one. And then down here we've got some thyme and some oregano. So I'm hoping that these will create a ground cover. So my plan is to get a ground cover to cover all of this mulch because I don't want this mulch blowing into the pond. So the sooner these plants can cover that, the better. So that's why I have planted them quite close together. And for the pond plants, we have a chocolate mint. I'm not sure what this one is, but it's some sort of grass, which apparently the frogs love. And all these rocks I've just been collecting on my walks every now and then, so I will get some more rocks for here as well. This one is a cress and it is going absolutely wild, so this one is edible. This one is just like a strappy grass that goes under the water, and that helps oxygenate the water. This one is also edible. And I've got a little bit of a log so lizards and things can come across here. I'm hoping to get more sort of things like that so frogs can easily get in and out of the water as well. This one is pineapple sage, which is my absolute favourite herb. It has beautiful red flowers that will attract lots of insects. And down in here you can't really see, but there is a water lily. So this is the purple water lily. It's a miniature one and it has bright purple flowers. So most of these plants are going dormant for winter, so I can't wait to show you these come spring and summer. And the little stuff you can see around here, this is duckweed, so that multiplies very quickly and will help cover a lot of the water. That'll keep the temperature a little bit more even. I'm not really sure what that is, but that one is not edible. And then because this was where my sweet potato and my New Zealand spinach was, that will also start popping up. So I'm going to get lots of different plants popping up in here, so we will have to see how that goes. We've got more parsley here, oregano, snapdragon, and this is valerian root. So this one is going to be really good for making teas, for sleepy teas, and it loves quite a moist environment, so hopefully it will be happy there. And this one is my lemon cherry guava. I've left a lot of the sweet potato in here, and I've still got space to do something here. There's another little native in here that's not doing too great. This is going to be an ever-evolving space. I want to add more rocks and natural elements as well to increase that habitat. And in terms of the fish, they are not friendly. I hardly ever see them. So if you do want fish that you get to see more often, then the perch may not be it. I've literally not seen the perch. They definitely enjoy hiding. This is going to evolve over the seasons as well because I haven't been through a summer yet, so I intend on getting a solar fountain or pump for this as well, just to add a little bit more oxygen in there and help keep it cool, as well as trying to cover the surface with plants. And it's also important that I have my hose right nearby so I can keep this cool in summer. If it starts to get low on water, I can easily put more in. This is town water or mains water, so it is going to have some chlorine in it. So I've got those little sachets of native bacteria that help keep the pond clean, and also I've got the dechlorinating stuff, so every time I add extra water in, I can put a bit of that in to help balance it out. But yeah, having a hose nearby, definitely important.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my